So in the last video, we ended off by starting off creating the user interface. In this part of the video, we're going to finish it off and continue to the code. See you guys there. If you enjoyed the video and would like to support the channel, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. This will be the part where we're going to add some features that will make our UI look more presentable. So we're going to go on drawable and we're going to click on new and then click on the drawable resource file. And then inside here, you can say btn button underscore background and then just create and then change the rule element to shape. It's okay and we should be good to go. So now we got that. So now I quickly added a solid and said Android color, and now the color is going to be white, and I configured the corners and made it of radius 10 dp. Colors. Our colors will be a really important feature since we're going to need these colors to later on add this to our buttons. Okay, so now I'm going to create some colors and I'll be back. This will be the colors that we're going to use, and you guys can pause the video for a moment and just copy these down into your code. Button color will be red so that we can match our logo. Okay, so let's go back to button.xml, and in button.xml we're going to find color white and let's replace it for the btn color, and now it will become red. And now we can go back to activity XML and now let's make this background, and now we're going to see that background color pop up, and we're going to do it as well for this. So let's go to background, let's add that btn color. So now we can just copy this and quickly just paste it into our code. We can paste it underneath just so we can keep track of where we're at, and let's paste this to all our buttons so that we got. So let's go to withdrawal. So now we added that to the withdrawal, and every single one of our buttons and text views. So let's go here. Let's also add it. Let's also add it to our edit text, which we can find below here, to our button as well in the bottom. Now that we got that done, we can move on to our next point, which is changing the text colors for everything to white. So we're going to say color equals color white. I'm just going to copy and paste this for every other thing that we see here. Withdraw is done. Text view, we need that white. Let's add that white over there. That text color white. Go to choose amount. Make also that text color white. Let's go down to that edit user input and let's also make it white. The same goes for the button. Now that we have everything as white, we can move on to the next thing. Let's make all of this bold so we make it stand out. So we're going to make all the text styles as bold as possible, and we're going to just make everything bold. So make that bold. If this is not bold, let's make it bold. Choose amount should be bold. Text view is already bold. Let's go to the button now. It's already bold. Button deposit. And see, my balance is also bold. So our last touch to make these buttons appear as red would be to add the background tint to colored add button. And let's do the same for this. That button. And now we're good. So I kind of want to make a change to the radius. And just try to make this maybe 15 dp. So let's see how it looks. So our app, we only want 3 buttons to be visible. So let's make the ET user input invisible. We can We do that by saying Android visibility and then make that invisible. And we can copy for these others too. So the button submit will also be invisible. The choose amount as well. Balance. And now let's keep going. And the next part is just making the background color to that one color that I previously wanted, which is I'm just saying this one and then saying background color. Now everything blends in finely, and we can now move on to the next part of the video. Okay, so I made a few changes. I actually switched the background and I switched it to add drawable button BG, which is our color. And now we have a more realistic feeling to our buttons. And let's go back, and I would like it to be a little bit less. So let's go back to 15. This is preference, and you guys could change it up to what you guys want. But I'm going to 15. And now we can move on to the next part of our code, which will be the coding part. So let's jump right into the code. We can go into our main activity. Let's close all of these right now. Let's go into our main activity, and you see that we have a privately init binding, and this is what we did before at the beginning of our video. And now the useful part of this is that, as you can see right now, I can just do binding, and then since it will easily let us access any view that we want, so we could say btn balance. Okay, balance, and shut down click listener. Take that out, and see, without any errors, we can actually access the btn balance button. But before we do any of these, let's go here and let's click on new, and let's create a calling class. And this calling class, just like we did before, we're going to create an enum class this time. And let's name it transaction options. And it will be simple. And instead of actually having 3 options, we're going to have only 2 options. These options are done with this. And let's go back to the main activity. And let's start building the code. So for button balance, we can say set up button balance, which will be a function that we're going to create in just a moment. So button see my balance. Anything. Let's do binding dot tv my balance, and let's append a value. So we're going to append a value, which we're going to just create right now, which will be the account balance. You guys seen the previous video, we created an account balance by using, we're going to name it private. We're going to use the private keyword since we're not really going to access this account balance anywhere else in our code. So we're going to say private var account balance equals 0, and now this will work, and we can continue on to building the setup button see my balance. So let's jump right into building. Okay, so let's jump right into building that one, and we're going to start off by saying private. We're going to access out of this onCreate function. It's going to say function setup button see my balance, just like we named it above there. Let's start it, and let's use that binding keyword that I previously mentioned. I'm going to say choose amount dot visibility equals to view dot visible, and this is the same thing with binding dot et user input visibility equals to view dot invisible, and same thing with binding dot button submit visibility equals to view dot invisible. So the only thing that this will do is it's going to say whenever we click on the see my balance, we want to make these options invisible, which was the ET, the choose amount, and the user input. So we want to make those invisible, and this will allow us to do that. So now we can say make balance invisible, which will be another function we're going to create right now. So let's create that function. We're going to say private function make balance visible, and it will be simple. Binding TV my balance dot visibility equals to view dot visible. And now that we got that done, we can test our code right now. So let me test it. Okay, now we are gonna test it in our device. If you don't have an Android virtual device, you can easily create one by going on the create device, then picking one of these categories that you guys want to test it on. I'm gonna go with phone, and I'm gonna put Pixel 7 Pro. Then I'll click on next, and then I'll click on S, and then you guys can install it. And once it's installed, just click on next, and then just finish. And you guys will have your Android virtual device ready to go. So now we have our device running. Let's click on run. So now let's run the code and let's see what pops up. So now it's showing up. So in the video you can see that the choose amount shows up when we click on see my balance button. So the way we can fix this is just by going to setup button see my balance function and then changing the view to invisible instead of visible. That will fix the issue, and now we can go look forward to the next video where we're going to wrap up the code and finish off the project. I hope you guys are enjoying this journey as much as I am. Make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you guys there.